Hi all, my name is Kim Stone and I'm a certified sommelier and also have my diploma in wine and spirits through the Wine and Spirits Education Trust. But more importantly for today, I'm a friend of Justin's, the owner of Resolute, and we're collaborating on an innovative way to bring wine advice to you. In these very interesting times of no brick and mortar restaurants, you might be missing your favorite sommelier who always helped you pick that perfect bottle. So I'm working with Resolute Wine Bar to try something a little different. I'm going to be acting as a virtual guest sommelier and talking about wines that can be found at Resolute, which is thankfully still accepting online orders for the sake of all of our sanities. You can also pick up in store if you can't wait for delivery. The link for the wines that I'll be talking about is in my bio and features a great discount when both wines are purchased together. Now, full disclosure, I am also the Penfolds brand ambassador for Northern California, so each of these guest sommelier segments will include a Penfolds wine, but it does mean I know what I'm talking about, so that's good. Hopefully these segments will be educational as well, so if learning more about wine is on your bucket list of things to do while we're spending more time indoors, then definitely please keep watching. So today I'm going to be talking about Riesling. Riesling can be a confusing grape to a lot of people because it comes in so many different styles, from bone dry to very, very sweet. And oftentimes it can get difficult to know which kind you're looking at on the shelf. So today I'm going to be comparing two bone dry Rieslings. One from the Old World, the Rheinhessen region in Germany, a country that many consider to be the home of Riesling, and one New World Riesling from the Eden Valley in Australia, a region that has had vines planted since 1847 and has made a name for itself for producing exceptional examples from this variety. So the first record of Riesling as a grape dates back to 1435 and is most likely thought to have originated from the Rhine region of Germany. So when we're talking about German Riesling, we're talking about the native homeland of Riesling. The 1850s really saw a surge of popularity in German Riesling, and you'd see it commanding even higher prices than Bordeaux and Champagne. Now, as I mentioned, there were a lot of different styles of Riesling, but one commonality is that it's a grape with extraordinarily high acidity. For those who don't know, a good measure of acidity in wine is how much saliva is produced when you hold the wine in your mouth. So even with a sweet Riesling, the acidity helps balance out the sugar in the wine. In fact, many German Rieslings require sugar so the wine doesn't taste too austere. This acidity also adds a freshness on the palate, and you'll find it to be a very aromatic varietal across the board, Riesling in general. Alcohol tends to be lower for Riesling as well, so both of these wines we're talking about clock in at 12% alcohol, which to me means go ahead and have a second glass or even a third. So the first wine we're talking about is the 2016 Battenfield Spanier Trocken Riesling, and it comes from the Rheinhessen in Germany. So Rheinhessen is the largest wine region in Germany, and it's located in the Rhine Valley. It's bordered by the Nahe River on the west and the Rhine River on the north and east. You'll find a gentler terrain in the Rheinhessen than, say, for example, the Mosel, which is characterized by some of the steepest slopes you'll find in wine-growing regions. The Rheinhessen has more rolling hills and fertile soils, which as a result contributed to a reputation of lower quality production in the past. But today, there are some great producers to be found, and these guys are one of them. Now, let's talk German labels. One way to distinguish quality German producers is through this label that you see right here. So this little eagle symbol with the grapes inside the eagle shows that this winery is part of the VDP. The VDP is an invitation-only association of about 200 estate wineries across Germany, and they're recognized for their high-quality wines. Now, by no means are these the only good wines that you'll find in Germany. In fact, there are plenty of high-quality producers that are not members, but it's a good way to start simplifying the German wine scene for yourself. Now, you also see on the label this term Trocken. So Trocken means dry in German, and it's an indicator that you're looking at a dry Riesling, which is very important if you're trying to avoid a sweet Riesling. So Battenfield Spanier was founded in 1992 by Oliver and Carolyn Spanier. The estate is in the southern part of the Rheinhessen, and these Riesling vines are all planted on steep limestone and marl slopes, and the estate is certified biodynamic. The wine spends time in 2,400-liter wood barrels, which adds a nice weightiness to this particular wine. So I poured myself a glass last night when I made a coconut chicken curry, and this one paired absolutely beautifully with it. You find a really intense, it's intensely aromatic, lots of honeysuckle, ginger, those classic Riesling markers of candied lime peel, lemon citrus, stone fruit, and petrol. Same on the palate. Lemon lime zest, a nice weight, medium body, but plenty of that acidity. Again, I would pair with a little bit of a richer dish. Seafood, chicken, but with something that kind of balances it out, because this does have the weight to withstand that. So it's a great dish that can just really tie your dishes together, or a great wine that can tie your dishes together. That's awesome. I'm going to let that sit there for a little bit because I think it has a lot more to deliver. And I'm really excited that I got the chance to try this wine. Now, I want to move on to Australian Riesling because it's such a rich part of the wine history of Australia, but it often gets overshadowed by Shiraz and Chardonnay, which comprise about 44% of production in the country. Now, going back to our Riesling history, I mentioned that the 1800s was really when the popularity of the grape started soaring in Germany. It's also when the first cuttings were brought over to Australia and planted in South Australia. 1817 to be exact were the first plantings of Riesling. The early 1800s introduced a surge in German immigration from people who were escaping religious persecution. So there's a huge influx of German immigrants, and as a result, a population increase and a lot of Germanic population in South Australia. And these are no coincidence. Now, also in the 1800s, you have the establishment of Penfolds, which has a very rich legacy of winemaking in South Australia. So 1844, to be exact, Penfolds was founded by Dr. Christopher Penfolds and his wife, Mary Penfolds. Dr. Christopher was actually a practicing medical doctor, and the two of them, well, mainly Mary, because Christopher was tending to his medical practice, but they began making fortified wines to prescribe medicinally to his patients, which, as you can imagine, made him very popular. I would have loved to have some fortified wines prescribed instead of medicine. But it wasn't until much later, until after World War II, that with the introduction of Max Schubert as chief winemaker, that Penfolds made a name for itself in the production of still wines. First and foremost with Grange, as well as its entire Bin series. So this is Bin 51, and the Bin series represents a quality tier of amazing still wines within the Penfolds wine. So the 2018 Bin 51 Riesling is a beautiful and classic example of Australian Riesling. This wine has been produced since 1999, and it comes from the Eden Valley, which is a GI or geographical indication, basically the Australian equivalent of the US's AVA system, and a GI that borders Barossa Valley. So it shares a border, but it has distinctly different geographical terrain. So while Barossa Valley is flatter and considered to be more suited to red wine production, Eden Valley is windswept hillsides with steep slopes and varying aspects. The elevation it provides has made it really important in white wine production, particularly for the Riesling varietal. It has a much cooler climate than neighboring Barossa, and the average elevation of vines that go into Bin 51 Riesling is over 1,300 feet. The wine is aged in stainless steel for 3 months and provides a really refreshing character. So nice and clean, nice zestiness. So when you're talking about the palate, as I said, you get more intense aromas, but on the palate, a lot of lime zest, that crushed minerality as well. Think kind of oyster shell, beautiful crystalline water white color coming through in the glass, and certainly a lighter style of Riesling when compared with the German example. I would pair it with lighter seafoods. In fact, oysters would be a classic example. So if you find any oysters at your house during this quarantine time, I would highly suggest this as a pairing. I think definitely on the crustacean and the lighter side of seafood. So anyway, I hope this talk was really helpful for you. As I mentioned at the beginning, if you're interested in purchasing these wines, please follow the link in my bio. Justin is offering some killer pricing for us today. The Penfolds Riesling is usually $50, but it's down to $37.50. And the Battenfield is $35 down to $28.50. But together, you can get both of these for $48. So a huge deal. If you're interested in educating yourself on different styles of Riesling around the world, this is the perfect chance. So thanks, guys. Tune in again soon to hear me talk about Shiraz versus Syrah, as well as Old and New World blends in future segments. So stay safe and stay inside. Thanks, guys.